Hi, this is Femi from Femi S here, and in this video I will show you how to reinstall a lace front wig using Got2B spray. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I like to put on a stocking cap. Now, I did not do the balding method. I just have a regular stocking cap on my hair before I put my wig on, just so that you don't see my hair underneath. I personally don't recommend doing the bald cap method with, especially if you're a beginner, and then I personally do not do it because I don't like all the spray getting all on my edges over time. Okay, so before you actually install the wig or lay down your lace on your hairline, make sure you pull the hair back. And then what I like to do, and I actually speeded up this whole section of me installing the lace, but I use Got2B spray. And what I like to do is I like to install the wig in sections. So the first thing I did was install one side of my head, and then I installed the top middle area, and then I went and installed the other side. So as you can see, all I did was dab the Got2B spray on my actual hairline, and then I pulled the lace forward, and then I just gently used my finger to push the lace in. Because when you use Got2B spray, it actually dries very, very fast. Another thing I would recommend, since we are reinstalling this lace, is to comb out your baby hair forward before you actually start installing the lace, so it's a lot easier to just mold your baby hair the way it is, and you don't want to have to comb it out if it's stuck to your head. So I recommend actually combing out the baby hair before you actually install the lace. Okay, and another thing I like to do, sometimes it does get really messy using the spray. You can, like you just saw, you can actually spray the Got2B on your finger and then just dab your finger in. So as you can see here, I'm going back and forth with both of those two methods. So sometimes I dab the spray on my finger, and as you can see here, I'm moving to the top area and I just dab it straight in my hairline. And another tip too is to take a rat tail comb and use the end of the comb to really like push down that lace at the end. Okay, so right here I'm doing this the other side of my head, since we already did the last side and in the top area. And as you can see, sometimes when you spray the Got2B spray directly on your hairline, it's spray, so it's going to droop down your forehead. So it is a little messy, but definitely just take your time. I actually sped up the whole process. If you are a beginner, I would recommend actually making sure you at least have a whole hour before you have to go somewhere. That way you can really take your time. You don't want to rush through this process if you're not used to doing it. If you want it to come out just a really nice install and application. But I did the same thing that I did on the last side. On this side, I just sprayed the Got2B spray in, and then I just dabbed it with my fingers. And then I just also used the hairline, Lord have mercy, not the hairline, the rat tail comb to dab in that. Okay, so I am going to use a paper wrap to mold the lace even more. But before I do that, I really wanted just to get my parting the way I want it to look. So I parted it with the rat tail comb, and then I just used mousse just to help lay it a lot more flat. And just so that it can just look a lot more natural. And yeah, and mousse can be a little bit messy, but I think mousse is the best product to use if you really want your wig to mold, especially if you want the parting to lay as flat as possible. Okay, so once I was satisfied with how my parting looked, I went back and used the mousse to help create my baby hairs. So I would say use as much mousse as possible just to make the hair that you left out for your baby hairs mold. So here I just use the other end of my rat tail comb. I recommend using a rat tail comb or actually using a eyebrow brush. It just makes it so much easier to mold your baby hairs the way you want. Now, I honestly do not like dramatic baby hairs, so this is the second time I installed this wig, and then the third time I actually use less hair so that it can just mold to my hairline a lot, and then look a little bit more natural. Okay, so since I did a baby hair on the other side and in the top middle area, I'm now working on the last side. Again, I just use as much mousse as needed in order to make that, you know, the hair that I left for the baby hair is moldable, and I just use my rat tail comb to mold in my baby hairs. Now that I'm satisfied with the way it looks, I like to use a wrapping paper, and because I like to use wrapping paper because it's very thin, and then once I actually place the wrapping paper on my head, I like to use a blow dryer just to speed things up, a blow dryer just to help dry the baby hairs. And I would also recommend, if you do use a wrapping paper, or if you use even like a silk scarf for the baby hairs, I would say let it sit for at least 20 minutes, especially if you don't use a blow dryer to dry the baby hairs. And what I love about the wrapping paper is that you can actually go ahead and touch it to feel if the hair is still wet. If it's still wet, do not remove it yet. And as you can see right here, I actually like to touch the you can touch to feel if the hair is still wet while you have the wrap on. It was currently still wet at the time, so I'm going to leave it, and I'll go straight ahead into styling the wig while my baby hair is dry. So currently, this is the Deep Wave wig. I just use a curling cream. I use Garnier Fructis leave-in curling cream. And then right now, what I'm doing is I want the parting to look a lot more flat. I went ahead and used my hot comb. Now you can use an electric hot comb, or you can use the old school hot comb that you put in the oven that a lot of hairstylists use, but I just have an electric hot comb, and you want to mold your parting, and it just makes it look 10 times more natural. So this right here is a godsend tip. I highly recommend you get a hot comb. And I do realize when I was done, I should have hot combed the back of my crown area more, but it's all good. So now I'm double checking and seeing if my hair is dry, and it is ready to remove. And this is the end result, honey. Do you see how amazing that looks? It looks so good. So I recommend definitely use the tips that I have in this video. Take your time. Again, this is the Deep Wave lace front wig from my line, Femi S here. You can click the card above your head to check out this wig. Right now, currently, I'm wearing it in 130% density at 18 inches, but I also have 150 and 180% density options, all the way up from 10 to 26 inches. So definitely use the tips I use in this video if you are trying to reinstall your lace front wig. And also subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment below. If you have any questions when it comes to installing your wig, definitely leave your comments below. And again, this is Femi from Femi S here, and I will come with more tips in the future. Okay, talk soon. Bye.